Thanks, Matt. I'm a bit like you, Charlie. I'm a bit of a wanderer, so I'm going to try and root myself here. My perspective on this is going to be a much more of a business perspective. To Leslie's point, Leslie, I consider myself a coach. Definitely not a therapist. Just ask my wife. I'm definitely not a therapist, but I do consider myself a coach. And like Charlie, believe it or not, my first degree is in sports science, and you can tell it was a while ago, right? And but maybe there's a connection there. We can talk later. This is much more of a business presentation. And Matt, wherever you are, I feel obliged to just try to convince your mother that she's going to get a return on investment, right? And you're going to earn enough money to sort of keep your mum in the style to which she wants to become accustomed, right? And I'm going to have a real business perspective here. I'm going to talk about how we use the product that Matt is using, as Matt has developed, and talk about going beyond the product. Because here we are with a psychometric tool that we started working with before COVID, and suddenly everybody's stuck at home. And businesses are thinking, well, what the hell am I going to do with all my people? They're all at home and they're not working. And how do we build resilience in a team or teams or an organization when their whole world has been turned upside down? And that was a challenge. And people were coming and asking us that. What am I going to do with my sales team who can't go into hospitals any longer and talk about diseases and products? They're stuck at home. How do we build resilience? So I'm going to try and give you some context. And I've got 4 slides, and 2 people have told me, one person told me I've got to train at 9:20, and another person told me they've got to train at 9:15, so I'm going to try and stick to time. Feedback is a gift if you're a coach, and I've had that feedback. So I'm going to think about just going beyond the reports. And here's what we've done. My company is based in Switzerland. We're a learning and development organisation. We're a change management organisation. And we work all over the world. This week, Paddy and I have come from Zurich to Amsterdam. You know, this is the sexy life of a... Yeah, we went Zurich, Amsterdam, quite sexy. Basingstoke, not very sexy. And now we're in London, which in my view is the best city in the world. So it's great to be here. And the last thing I'll say as we go into this, you know, I know you're probably thinking, God, that guy has still got a really strong accent. And everybody nods, right? But you know, here's an interesting fact about the accent that you're hearing. According to the New York Times, they did a survey of 10,000, okay, they were Americans, right? But 10,000 Americans, and they asked them, what is the sexiest accent in the world when speaking English? What do you think they said? No. They said Italian. But Scotland came 6th. So this is officially the 6th sexiest accent in the world. So Yaboo sucks, right? Anyway, there we go. Now, while I've been talking, you've been reading the slide, so I'm not going to bore you with the detail on the slide. But on the left-hand side, as I'm looking at it, your right-hand side, you can see the sort of questions that organizations ask us. And they say, how will our working practice change post-COVID? They say, are we as resilient as our competitors? I agree, Charlie, you gave a really good definition. You have to define what resilience isn't before you define what it is. And I saw Boris Johnson on TV in an interview about Ukraine last weekend. In a 5-minute clip, he used the word resilience 6 times. By the way, 6 is a difficult word to say if you've got a Scottish accent. Right? But anyway, he didn't define it. He didn't define what resilience was. So it's useless. It's a useless adjective. So we have to, we try to work with different organizations and how you can work through resilience. And what we know is that organizations and people can become more resilient, but it's not a given. You have to work at it. And to Leslie's point, I believe that you have to coach it. And 6 sessions, word comes up a lot, 6 sessions isn't enough. You have to be really continuous with it. So, Matt and his team have produced an amazing psychometric questionnaire and team reports that really mean something, that are meaningful to businesses and to organizations. And I know that at least half of you that are here are practitioners. And I know you're probably hoping, not maybe from me, but from other people, you'll get some ideas about how you can grow your business. This thing is dope, right? It really is. It's fantastic. And you can engage your customers in different types of ways. And I've got 2 case studies. This one, this is probably our biggest client, a pharma company, global pharma company. We've worked with 2,000 employees in different projects. Only 200 of them or so have had RQI reports done, the one-to-one coaching, the team reports. But what we've been able to do, imagine you're working in business and you can have 200 hours one-to-one with employees from, executive vice president all the way down to administrators. And you talk to them about what's motivating them, how they're feeling about their work, what they love about the company, what they hate, their stresses, what their state of well-being is. And when you run the team reports that you can get from, and we just received one today from Matt for one particular client, you can hold a mirror up to that organization. Now, you've known me for 5 minutes. I think I'm a fairly straight talker, fairly direct speaker. But I can tell you that I think the RQI helps you be more direct and more honest with customers. And you can see down on the red side, again, I'm not going to read the slides, but these are things that we have actually said to organizations. And for those of you who are practitioners in the room, they say, well, how can we fix this? And guess what? Element Consulting gets another consulting gig out of it. And so business is good. So it's a win-win. People love the one-to-ones. They love the team reports. We are looking at it completely from we're not looking at, and Matt, you're right, I regard myself as a salesman, really at heart. But I'm not looking at sales numbers. I'm not looking at number of contacts with potential customers. I'm not doing any of the numbers. I'm asking them how they can be better, how they can build resilience. And you enter into a whole series of different discussions with people about how that can happen. Second case study. This is just 50 people, smaller company. Every one of them did an RQI, and some of the coaches who did the one-to-ones are sitting here in front of me. Honestly, I have never had a single, and we've been running, I've been involved in the learning and development world for 30 years. My degree is in education. I've never had not a single bad feedback about a one-to-one coaching interaction or a team report. This stuff works, Matt. And, I'm hoping that I'm building a good relationship with you so that we get more. And you can see the sort of things that we were able to say here. And I chose this one because this is a sales team. And you know what? It wasn't just the sales reps that were sitting at home doing nothing. The sales managers were sitting at home doing nothing on very high salaries. And so we're working with HR departments to say, how do we balance the equation up? Because whatever you think of pharmaceutical companies, we work with pharmaceutical companies, biotech companies, medtech companies, they have treated their staff really well over the last 2 years. Really well. They've been sitting at home and on full salary. Not a single redundancy that we know of. Now those people have to get back out on the road and they have to start actually doing something. So as HR professionals, how do you work with those teams to reinvigorate them, re-engage them? And resilience gives you that language. It gives you those tools. It gives you those constructive, the nuanced discussions that you can have, so that if you're working in Berlin or in Stockholm or in Tokyo, you will find a way to engage those people and redefine their roles. So that's how we use it. And I would encourage you all to, those of you who are practitioners, to think beyond the report. It's not just about the report. There's lots of psychometric questionnaires out there. Think about how you can help organisations be better and treat their people better. I'll just finish there by just saying, here are the people that I've worked with. And Matt and Christina, you're up here because you've done an amazing job, great job supporting us. And you've got a great company. I want to congratulate you. And long may it continue. My wife and my children would also like to say thanks. And that's it from me.